Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's the 12th of March 2018 and it's Monday afternoon actually. And you've probably gathered by the title of this video, we would just like to report how our little expedition went last week. It was a bit of an experience, but before we get into that, I wanted to just touch upon, and no, you don't know what I'm going to say at the moment.
No.
I just wanted to touch upon our last video, which was about Molly. This Friday it'll be 7 weeks and counting since she passed away. And and I'm sure my good wife would also like to express our thanks of all the lovely comments on the videos, on the video we produced last time. There was some really nice.
Yeah.
Every comment was read.
And people were so supportive and understanding what we were going through. It was lovely.
Yeah. We read every comment and we replied to absolutely every single one.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks very much for that, everybody. We really appreciate that. It's extremely quiet around here. Molly, and if you watch the video to the end, you will have gathered how shall we put it, noisy, vocal our little Molly was.
Oh. Yeah.
So, okay, so moving on. I had a bit of a routine appointment at our hospital in Derby. I'm not going to sort of go into details about the appointment on this video. I may do it in another video, but what I wanted to touch upon is how I actually arrived at the appointment, because you'll find out why she's laughing in a minute. I'm not very I'm just going to get comfortable. She goes all sloppy, you know. I am not very mobile at all at the moment, and whilst I can still drive my car okay, I'm not very good on my feet. My legs are everywhere, my back is weak and painful, my legs are spasming everywhere, I've got loads of spasticity in my legs, and
you're suffering the most immense tiredness.
Yeah.
Exhaustion.
I am.
And it's unlike you to have to want to go for a lie down, because you just can't do another thing until you've had some sleep.
No, it takes so much conscious effort at the moment to just walk from room to room. It's wiping me out. And this last week or two, probably 2 or 3 times a week, I've been going to bed in the afternoon. And what I thought was just like an hour or so, I've actually been sleeping for 3 hours.
Plus.
Just over.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, the hospital visit. We parked up in the disabled car park at our local hospital at Derby, and I managed to walk from the car to like the foyer, like there's an entrance, not the main entrance, but from the car park into the hospital. And we went up the lift and I was done. That was it. Couldn't walk anymore. So my dear wife, she's not distracting me, honest. Behave yourself.
Sorry.
My dear wife grabbed a wheelchair.
First time ever.
And the thing is, whilst I'd kind of realised that I wasn't going to make it, I just wasn't going to be able to make the walk, because from the car park to the appointment was quite a long walk. I have managed to do the walk on previous occasions, but not this time. It just wasn't happening. And so the chair was the better option. It was the best option, rather. So it was kind of emotional for me as well, because obviously not being able to use my legs is a big deal. It's a really big deal. And in a minute you'll realise why we're smiling about it, because what we did, we turned a negative experience into a positive one.
That's what I always do. Look for a positive.
Yeah. So the reason we're smiling about it so much is because as soon as I sat in this wheelchair, now it's one of these wheelchairs that I can't actually control. You're totally in the hands of the driver.
Who can't drive.
She doesn't drive. The first thing I wanted to do, believe it or not, and I do drive, is I wanted to put my seatbelt on, and we were still stationary. I wasn't worried at all, but I did want to put a seatbelt on. It was kind of weird, really. The second thing, before we'd even started moving, or we might have started moving, is I wanted a steering wheel. It was so strange because as Teresa started pushing me, I couldn't control steering, I couldn't control braking, and I couldn't control
me.
Acceleration. I was going to say acceleration, couldn't I, dear?
No.
No. We'll tell them about the hill in a minute, shall we? So it was really strange because I couldn't control any of these things. Couldn't control steering, couldn't control acceleration, couldn't control braking, and for a driver it was pretty strange. And so I was totally in the hands of Tree. I call her Tree for short. Teresa, Tree for short. Okay, so off we go, and I immediately realised that as you're sort of going down the hospital corridors, there's benches dotted, and usually there's people sitting on these benches, isn't there? Yeah, and as a rule their feet tend to stick out a little bit. Well, here we come down the corridor in the wheelchair with the driver, and I said, Tree, move to the left a bit. She automatically, you was just kind of veering to the right.
It was the wheelchair, it wasn't me.
Right.
And I didn't think that man wanted his feet anyway.
So as we were moving down there, we tend to veer to the right where these people would be sitting, and so you'd then correct it and we'd go a bit more central, and then we'd carry on to the next, and then we're sort of approaching this guy, and he quickly pulled his feet in, let's put it like that. Sorry! And I'm just saying.
I know. You was apologising for me all the way down the corridor.
So then we got to the bit where the hospital joins like another part of the hospital, and it's like a connecting corridor, and it's slightly downhill.
Slightly.
So do you want to explain what happened?
Well, it was quite unexpected, but I didn't realise it was such a hill, because you just walk normally down.
Well, it was a slight decline, sort of like that.
So there's me holding the wheelchair, and slowly I'm going faster and faster, and Neil thought I was just in a rush. I wasn't. I was practically running with the wheelchair.
I was starting to panic.
I was running, my little legs were going. Oh, it was really funny.
Because there's absolutely no way I could jump off the chair if it was like going too fast, because I'd just end up in a heap on the floor.
And there's no brakes on it either.
It wasn't a chair where it's got the bigger wheels where I could actually grab the wheels and slow down, so I couldn't control it myself. Like I say, totally in the hands of the driver.
Yeah. Well, it was an experience. It was like a fairground ride where you didn't have to pay.
Yeah.
So, win-win.
So we arrived at the reception where we'd got to go, and to be quite honest, that was the worst part about it. I did actually survive the journey there, thank you. And but when we actually arrived in the reception, there was probably half a dozen people sitting there, and it says like there's me in a chair and Teresa's pushing me, and I hand my letter over to the receptionist, and she parks me up, literally, and that's the difficult bit. You may or may not be able to I can't think of my words. You may
appreciate.
That's it. Yeah. You may or may not be able to appreciate this. You may have experience of this yourself, but when you walk into a public area where no one else is in the same predicament as you, no one else is in a chair, you can feel the eyes staring, burning into you, and okay, could be a little bit of paranoia, but it's almost like you can hear people, what's up, I wonder what's the matter with him, you know what I mean? And that was the not very nice bit, you know. So, and then we went over to another, we were wheeled to another waiting room, but there wasn't anybody in that one, so it was a bit more comfortable in there. But you know, that was the uncomfortable bit about the whole kind of visit to the hospital, the in the waiting room bit, because I was sitting in a wheelchair, and nobody else was. So.
Well, the thing is, though, it's like needs must. We had to put you in a wheelchair, but it saved you struggling and getting stressed that you can't walk, and getting upset. Instead of that, we ended up having a laugh because I almost killed you.
And that's funny.
Yeah, so there, we just wanted to do a video of Neil's experience of his near death.
Yeah, it was a near death experience as well. It really was. But between us, we were a team, to be honest, and we did manage it. And it was difficult. It was difficult emotionally, not only for me, because I was in the chair, but it was for you as well, wasn't it? Because, you know, we've walked everywhere, hand in hand, everywhere we go, we always hold hands and on our own 2 feet, and it's like things are changing. So
we're having to learn to change as things change together.
Yeah. Because
together we can do it.
Yep. I'm actually, haven't done it yet, but I've actually been looking at some of these portable boot scooters, these mobility scooters as well, because I can move from room to room in the house and a few steps, but I can't do much hardly at all now. My back is just so weak, and it makes it so difficult to take steps. So I do want to try and maintain my independence. So I'm thinking perhaps one of these kind of portable mobility scooters will help. So I can be tazzing around Tesco in that while Teresa does the shopping, basically. What do you reckon?
I can just imagine you. And knocking people down like Skittles. Extra points for certain people.
Yeah. Anyway, I know we're trying to smile about it, we're trying to laugh about it and be positive about it, and it is a relatively negative thing, but we're trying to be positive. But it is difficult getting my head around it. I know I'm having to try and make the transition this last 6 to 12 months. I know I've got to try and get my head around making the transition and having some four-wheeled help, but it's just doing it, you know.
You'll know when the time's right.
Yeah. I'm still not there yet, to be honest. I'm still not there yet.
So that's that.
Yes, that would be about it for this one. Thought I'd just touch base. It's been probably about 6 weeks since we did the last video, and the last one was with Molly. So, and I feel we feel that was a fairly significant thing in our lives to just make a video about and pop it on the channel. So, as always, hope everybody is doing okay, and we will bid you farewell.
Until the next time.
Until the next time. Bye bye for now.
Bye.